We'll call the meeting to order at 5:32. Do we have any adjustments, changes to the agenda?
Tim Severance gave his resignation for Lister, so that needs to be added to the agenda somewhere under new business. I don't know if you want to put it after the Wyndham solid waste thing.
And we'll just, we can just bring it up for discussion, and I assume we will be looking for a new lister.
Well, we can talk about it when we get to that.
Okay. All right.
I'd like to reside.
Reside.
We'd like to reside from the listers board.
I know, I saw that just...
You made the office too nice.
We'll make that longer.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of July 16th.
So moved.
Yep,
Okay.
I'll second.
If there are no other questions about the minutes or corrections, all in favor? Give you your opportunity.
Clarification.
It's a good thing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
This is the next thing.
New business. Spending a little money. We're spending money on
It's the renewal note for dump truck.
Dump truck.
Make a motion that we renew the refunding note for the dump truck in the amount of $23,690.
Yep.
Second.
All right. If there are any further questions, corrections on that? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just two?
All right, and Dan, you're next on the agenda? Or you want to come up to the table, or, well, you're fine there. This is right. Okay.
So I asked him to be here because you guys we have questions about, well, just kind of an update on Act 148 and what you know since the last time we talked with you about it, I guess, right?
I don't think anything has changed. I've been looking at the Waste Management and Prevention Division website on the Agency of Natural Resources, and it seems like they're adding more details, but none of those details are going to affect what Bob talked about last time. I think things are pretty much the same. Which is to say, just in looking at this is they've improved the website, so there's a page or two on it that just says how does it affect municipalities, and if you look just at those place it down at the bottom where the specific task under these, and this is what we have to think about, and I think Bob spoke to all of these. The variable rate pricing system is something that the district is going to take care of with your approval. Parallel collection of recyclables wherever trash containers are available in all public spaces by July 1st, 2015. We talked about that and said, I think, essentially that as far as the town of Putney is concerned, it's just putting 3 things in here. And I think that will take care of it.
Yeah, I think we have to do the fire station.
The fire station.
Probably the pool too.
Yeah,
because
right,
we're
okay.
doing that now. So there are some other, so I think I have this.
Yeah, fire station, pool, highway department.
Yeah, so I have this actually in the library.
Right. The adopting a solid waste implementation plan, that's something we do. The district takes care of that because Putney's a member town. So, and then yearly SWIP reporting on outreach efforts and solid waste assets. That again will be taken care of by the district. So it's and I just in thinking, one thing I think a lot about is enforcement, and I think as Bob said last time, the law is light on enforcement. I think he was understating things there. Really think there isn't any enforcement, to be honest. But I think, although under the, if you look at the website, they've written, the Agency of Natural Resources has an enforcement authority. Solid waste districts and towns also have enforcement authority under local ordinances. But we don't have to do anything if we don't want to. I mean, if the town really doesn't have the capacity or the resources to do that, so we're really relying on, as they say here, education and outreach will be the initial method of implementing universal recycling. I think that adjective "initial," just reading into that tells me that this is an honest experiment, and we're going to see as we go along what's needed. I think we have to remember that it's the object here is not to get 100% recycling. It's to get us from 36% up to 50%. That's all we're trying to do. I think the state will probably go higher than that eventually, but I think certainly without enforcement, you're not going to get up into the 80 or 90% range. I don't think. That's sort of my view on it. I think one other thing, just to say about the enforcement business, there's really no obligation on the part of the haulers to separate things, even though. And I think some people might be confused about that, particularly in Windham County, because in Brattleboro they are. The Triple T guys that pick up can, they can pick up a bag, and if they hear metal in there, or aluminum cans or broken glass, then they leave it. But there's no obligation under this law for haulers to leave anything.
Are they obligated to offer it, though?
Yes, absolutely.
So they're obligated to offer
Yes.
it, but that doesn't mean when they pick your trash up that
Right.
if you have something in it,
Yeah.
they're going to say, no, not taking it, is what you're saying.
That's exactly it. They have to offer it. They are, that's the law.
But they're not the recycling police.
Exactly. Some might be, and there might be some towns, that Westminster, I don't know how they do it. If a town has a contract with it, then they can say you have to do this.
Required, right?
Yeah, but we're not going to operate that way, so and it would be impossible to do it here. So that's about it. Our next district meeting is the second Thursday of August. We're off this month, so there may be more then to talk about, but may not be.
So I guess our questions were, what I was hearing you guys say is, one of the things we're concerned about here in Putney is, do they expect to do away with bins? I know not right off,
Right.
but I think one of the things we're wanting you to kind of keep an eye on for us
I am.
is giving us a heads up if you think that that's where they're,
Right.
right? Is that,
I would think that would be a real shock if
Well, I think-
so many people woke up and those bins are gone. So as much heads up as we can have, and as much what we're going to be doing instead of just trying to stay ahead of the curve on this with information for people.
Yeah.
I think it would, and just to add to that, I think as much as we can make it clear that we don't want them to go away, whether we have enough pull as a single representative or whether all of the towns, but I think, yes, if they are going to go away, we'd like to know in advance, but more importantly, we don't want them to go away. I don't think, do we?
No. And we've managed to secure, a spot in this park and ride and the whole business expansion there in that area to be able to keep them there and whatnot. It seems to be a pretty popular location.
And I also,
I'm sorry.
I just think that as far as recycling rates are concerned, you know, the fact, I know that Putney, you know, we tend to recycle a lot, and I just, if there's sort of more publicity about it, I hate to make it any more difficult for people than it is. So.
I know a guy who has a second home in East Putney. They come up from someplace outside New York City, and they shut down. They shut down local recycling drop-off areas in his region. So he brings his recycling here. And he said anything you can do to keep those here. He's not speaking about, you know, for his own good, but just because he saw what happened there, and he says there's a lot less recycling.
I'm sure. No, that would be my concern. Is, I mean, if people are, you know, stockpiling recycling as well as trash before they go to the dump, it just seems like a bad solution to me.
I think we're moving. A few years ago, there was this movement toward single stream recycling, but now that whole philosophy has kind of turned around in the last 6 months, where they're finding increasingly that dual stream and so forth is better.
Because the values remain higher?
Yeah, I think there are a bunch of reasons. That's suggesting that we may keep the operation going down there as it is. There are other arguments for keeping the. We have to weigh. If we shut down the MRF and turn the whole thing into just a transfer facility, there'd be a number of jobs lost, of course, and that's. So we're balancing that against that. But what I hear, and this is just, I kind of hesitate to say this in a public forum, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying it. Bob Spencer, our executive director, is. If you read the last that article that was in the Commons not this week, but last week or the week before. About the solar array plan to put on the landfill, and one thing that he said was that hypothetically we could run this we could run this place on that is solar sale of biogas, recyclable commodities, and compost. We could make enough. We could make enough revenue to run it without charging towns anything. And I think that would include, keeping these places open and picking up and everything. I want to hear how he's crunched the numbers on that sometime, but I don't know. I don't think anybody's interested in shutting these down.
Yeah,
I really don't. There's and I'm obligated to do an informal survey, so I'll be out there some mornings with a clipboard. I think 5 or 6 mornings, and probably it'll have to be into August now. Just surveying people, and we'll see what that turns up. So we're gonna use that as information to just what people's interest levels are and what their feelings are about it. So. I guess, but I'm not. I don't see it going away myself.
Good.
It's people get used to a certain thing, and they want it to continue.
Yeah. Well, it just makes it so convenient to you're just passing by, you're going wherever, and stop and drop it as opposed to going all the way to the dump.
And that was the fear. I mean, we heard what happened in Guilford, and so.
Right, immediately.
Is that going to be happening? Is there something that we don't know about yet?
No.
I think it's just part of that reason for getting more info.
The thing is that ours are pretty productive and generally speaking pretty clean. So that's good. And we get a lot coming down from Westminster and so forth. And at least under the way it was done when, I don't know how often frequent pickup is now, but when Joe Kowalski was operating things, it was twice a week for
Yeah, I
pickup,
think
which
it's
was-
pretty regularly, twice a week.
Tuesday and
Yeah.
Friday or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
We used to do
it
Monday
attracts people because it is, you know, it feels safe, it's wide open.
Yeah.
Plenty
Yeah,
of
it's
room,
the
you know,
perfect
to
spot,
do
yeah.
that. It's actually, it's proven to be it.
And there's going to be excellent parking.
Back it up.
You maybe just, I mean, as an aside, so you know, these, I've always thought this, but these recycling bins, whether, it doesn't matter what town they're in, they're available for anyone
That's right.
anyone to
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
Okay, because that's like, I mean, you made me think. You know, if there's some towns that end up pulling their bins, some towns could get, you know, severely overloaded. And I'm just wondering, does the town pick up more of a tab if there's more pickups? You know, if all of a sudden Putney started recycling twice as much,
No.
that
I don't
wouldn't
think the
increase-
assessment
It's
is
just a
per capita.
per capita.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are, that's a subject that's been talked about, but more in terms of the really long poles that they do from say Reedsboro or Winhall. You know,
Right.
those are crazy.
Yeah.
And one, you know, 2 trips up there, 2 trips to Winhall from Old Ferry Road is that's a lot more expensive than coming up here twice a week,
Yeah.
or 4 times. So, but the other thing is we have the nicest bins are around, and some of the others are really rotted out, and for some reason, I don't know, I didn't slip him any money or anything, but for some reason
Right.
we have really shiny
Cold
new-
winter day, trying to slide that door open or something like that.
and that's having good looking bins and a nice site is it helps things.
And visible as
Yeah.
well.
It reminds people that this is serious. This isn't
And we've
just
had a
garbage.
very dedicated person that has had some high school kids getting their community service cleaning up there.
Yeah.
So that's why ours stay.
It's been messy recently. I
Well-
think there's something
I
about
think
the
that's
construction site feel
Universal.
That, and I don't know, I mean, I don't keep up with
People-
this person, these
people are
people
using it
graduated,
more.
you know, who knows what the
Sometimes,
deal
yeah,
is,
that's a
yeah.
good point.
Summertime, yeah.
A lot of guerrilla dumping going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
we really appreciate your
Thank you.
ongoing willingness to-
Yes. I think that's the best we can do is, you know, stay ahead of the curve and keep people informed.
Yeah.
And so that, you know, it's not, there's no sudden surprises, and at some point I'm kind of assuming we'll have some sort of public forum and discussion about this because it's going to be important.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's probably mostly going to be incumbent on the waste management
Yeah.
district to
Right, but we-
educate people as opposed to, I mean, I don't know, but we would certainly be happy to host that, I would think. But they're the ones who, in theory, are going to know a lot more
Sure,
about it than we
sure.
are. So.
You're talking about Act 148 or?
Yeah, just what the implications are to the general public, and I mean, I think that information is trickling out, but when it starts to actually happen more.
Well, it might be prudent also, I mean, I don't know that anything that exists, is to have stuff in the schools too. Because the kids ultimately are probably,
Sure.
once they understand the implications of recycling and all that stuff, they're the ones that a lot of times that will push the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that, and kind of be the police. In fact,
Yeah.
they probably love it.
No, and I also have often thought that, if you could be positioned strategically at, I don't know what our highest times are, but I would have to assume Saturday mornings for people, education, I mean, I think that, I had an experience one time when a guy was unloading his truck, a whole bunch of stuff and leaning it up against, and he's, I sort of said, well, do you realize this is illegal dumping? And he said, what? People love it when I do this. I'm bringing all my stuff that would go to the swap and I leave it. And it's like, no, you can't do that. And it was more a lack of understanding than anything else. And I think there's a lot of that goes on. That, one with the illegal dumping, but also just, people don't read the sign and they throw this and that and the other. I think that a presence at popular times would be great. But, you know, whether that would be a community service type thing or how we might manage that, I don't know.
Well, the signs that are on there are clearer than they've ever been.
Yeah, they definitely are, yes.
It took a long time
To get that.
To get that.
Yeah,
done.
absolutely.
But under our new management, things happen fast.
Yeah.
With regard to the school education, that's happening through our program director.
Okay.
She's going out to the schools. I'll check when she's coming to Putney, but it should be pretty soon.
It might be a matter too of once we get our permanent spot down there, putting up some other signs.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I think so.
Yeah.
Just-
And
Because it's been kind of willy-nilly, you know,
Sure.
the bins are there,
Juggling
and
around,
now where there's
yeah.
gonna be an actual
Yeah, of course, yeah.
location.
under Act 148, there are going to be universal recycling signs that
Are there?
for compost, recyclable material, and garbage. So it's going to be very standardized
Good.
throughout the state. So that will help a lot too, I think. So,
Good.
That's it, Lego signs or something. All right, great, thank
so
you. Yeah.
I'll follow up at the next meeting if anything happens.
Okay.
I'll send you an email and you can pass it on to them.
Okay, sounds good.
But, we'll see.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Andrew. Good night.
Yeah.
Just gonna leave this up here. I have to Skype with my family at 6:30. I just wanted to know if after the Neil and Jive, we could do this.
I think,
We're next on the.
yeah, I think, I said we'll put it after the women's solid waste. I don't see why you can't do it now.
Oh, okay, great. Well, then in that case, is it gonna be now?
Yep.
Okay. Then this is from Ruby. Tim came in last night. And this one for you.
So I think first though, do you need to accept the
Oh, yeah.
resignation? Like,
Yes.
yeah, the resign?
I think the last line is right.
Please accept this notice of resignation.
I mean, technically it wasn't warned, so I think accepting
not
a
a
resignation isn't too
yeah, it's not.
controversial. I don't think anybody's gonna knock the
Right, I
door
mean,
down
I
saying that we shouldn't or should or, thank you. So I'm comfortable, I mean, it's up to you guys, but I'm comfortable saying I think it's okay to do that part tonight, but anything else probably
Yeah.
should be noticed.
As far as he's nominating a new person. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, you know, I'll make a motion that we accept Tim's resignation, you know, tentatively, and that it becomes firm after it's warned for the next meeting or something
Yeah,
along those
that way we
lines.
can go move ahead.
Yeah, exactly, effective 2 weeks from tonight, if it's duly
Yeah.
warned.
Okay.
Darrell, second time?
There are no further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
He's moving to Dummerston.
Yes?
Yeah. So that was one of the reasons. Plus he's done. And I'll send him a note. Thank him for his.
And I mean, he's mostly done what he
Yeah.
agreed to do.
Right, his agreement was to stay through reappraisal,
Right,
which he did do. And we're really grateful that he did.
Yeah.
It made it a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Did you see this too, Josh?
Yeah, I think we all
Okay.
said a copy, yeah.
This, you're looking at it right now.
Oh, that's your
Oh, I
one.
see, okay.
Yeah. I'm Skyping with my family at 6:30, so I think my sister's calling to remind me, sorry for the music box.
That's you. So what, can I go ahead?
We would need to wait until this is warned.
You
Right,
need to wait till the resignation is warned?
No,
No.
Oh,
for an appointment.
Oh.
You know,
What I had said earlier today when I heard about this was that my suggestion is that we should advertise it.
Well,
that we should make it known that this position's available for a certain number of days, then have people who are interested submit a letter of interest, and that way everybody has the opportunity. And then they make a recommendation based on, like this one here could be good, or they could do another one or whatever. And maybe that's the only one that comes in. I don't know. But that's my suggestion, to make it so that it is an opportunity that's available to the public.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
But
that is
it is up
probably
to you
the
guys.
most transparent way to do it.
Well, I guess, and the one thing about this too is that this is someone else saying that Tiffin might be good. Is she interested? I mean, it
Well,
doesn't.
this is just-
Oh, I could, yeah, of course.
To me,
I don't have
That's why
to
she's
anymore.
here.
Okay.
I am interested, and yes, I would like to have the position.
My only concern about advertising it as a position is that it's an elected position. And anybody who would
Well,
want,
it's not an elected position until it's elected next
Right,
time around.
till the
For
next
now,
time.
it's an appointed position, but it's also a paid position.
right,
So I think we probably have an obligation to advertise it, given that it's a paid position.
I've just run into I just want to caution that if you
Yeah. There could be,
There
no, I
could
think
be.
that,
there would be no reason
Yeah.
why you shouldn't.
so then how would we proceed? There would be letters that would come in, and then the listers would go
We would
through
have a
them?
time frame, a short window of time frame
It would be
to
great,
respond.
it would be
And-
great to do it soon, only
Oh, I would
because,
suggest we would do this at the next meeting.
or, well, it could be noticed. Oh, I guess you're right. It probably should be warned that we're having this discussion, or should we go ahead and advertise?
We can advertise and have it due so that you have information for the second meeting in August.
Right.
That's 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly, not the next meeting, but the one after.
Yeah.
Who would I send my information to?
To the select board.
Select
Yeah.
board or two?
Well, you guys would be the ones that would be
That would make the
appointed.
appointment, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying we leave them out of who we get.
Right.
I think everybody should get a copy of it, and
Right.
then they make a
Yeah, yeah.
recommendation on what they read, and the people, I mean, we just went through it for a conservation commission person.
Right, no,
She
but,
submitted a letter of her,
right,
so that, like,
her qualifications,
so
and
then the listers would read the letters and make a recommendation to the board, and then the board appoints from that? Is that what you mean?
That's I understand
would
it.
be
Yeah.
I would-
Okay, yeah.
Essentially.
right, but I don't think you would pick what, they would see the letters also, and they could say, well, I don't agree with that recommendation, or I do, or
Right.
whatever. I mean, it's
Right.
a collaborative, and you may want to interview, you may not get,
you may not get any letters,
Tiffin,
yeah, exactly.
most likely, will be
It's
the
not-
only one.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean-
know.
It's not a very
What the listers
popular.
want or feel comfortable with,
It's
in
actually-
all probability,
Yeah.
will be the choice that we make. I mean, it's
I see.
it's comparable. We haven't had anybody, have we had to put anybody on the school board recently or something like that? It used to be that they would go through the school boards.
Right.
And then you would have to present it to the select board, but now, I think, say, if you're in the school boards, you can actually be nominated directly from that.
Yeah, I can't remember, there were a
Yeah.
couple people who
Yeah,
did step
yeah,
down,
yeah.
but I think it happened to coincide with elections, I
Elections
don't
or
think it
something
mattered,
after.
but.
I mean, I have no idea, no one
And I
else.
understand your point, because it's a paid position.
I think to me, that's the main thing.
That's.
I think
it's
it
like
just
a-
has
a
to
bidding
be
process or
transparent
something.
that there's an open position,
Yeah.
whether it's a lister position, a town clerk position, I think it has to be
Select
made
board
known that there's a vacancy.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. To me, it would just look. It could look. It's almost like nepotism. You're just.
Of course.
And that could look bad.
Right, I
And
just
this
want to
just
say-
avoids any questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just want to say that Ruby and I knew that Tim was probably going to do what he said, and after the reappraisal, he was going to step down. So what Ruby and I did was, as Tiffin became interested, she'd come in and we'd explain different things about the position to her, just because it isn't a popular position per se, listers.
I was gonna say, we're not gonna let you go.
And so we were actually thrilled that
We've got
there
your
would be
interest.
somebody who could step in, because now that the reappraisal is over, it doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that the bits and pieces aren't done. So it would be nice to have the board full. And that was why I came tonight, and Ruby wrote the note was actually because it would be nice to have it full. So, I mean, to keep the board.
I don't think
We will
anybody's-
fill it as fast
I
as
don't
we
think
can.
anybody's
Yeah.
disputing that, but we
the
have
process
had.
allows us to do
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah,
We
I
have
just
had
wanted to
somebody
say.
else that is interested, which is named in here, which was Jordy Heller. So
Yep.
if he's interested, there might be somebody else too. I think you
Yeah.
just have to
Yeah.
give people that opportunity. It's,
Sure, to step up. I mean,
I mean, that
people are
doesn't mean
certainly
whoever gets
calling.
appointed in
Right.
4 weeks, they have till March, they have to,
And
well, I don't know
the
how long
term
his
where
term.
right, how long a term?
Well, no, it goes until March and then
It
they
would be
run for
March.
the remainder.
There would be a remainder.
Oh, okay.
Right, because it doesn't, I mean,
Yeah.
because they have to be elected,
They
they're
don't-
appointed until,
They don't
The
fill
next
a-
election.
Until the
half of a
next
3-year
election.
term or something like that.
but I just wanted you
I
to
don't
know
know.
that,
I don't
that,
I'm pretty sure
I don't
that's.
know that either.
I just wanted you to know that we were trying to,
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
be proactive about keeping the board full. I mean, we're certainly getting a lot of calls about things concerning the reappraisal and taxes and stuff. So, there isn't any way we could, well, I guess if we did it, not this next select board meeting, but the one after that, is that what you were saying?
That gives sufficient time to notice it, have a, you know, a
We
reason.
will put it on iPutney
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the comments and.
So then that would be what date, about?
Second meeting in August.
4 weeks
Right.
from today.
Oh, Yep.
Yeah,
That is.
what is that?
Did Tim's thing have an
30th.
effective date?
So the 27th.
27, all right.
Effective
As
date?
of July 29th.
That's of July 20th.
So probably what I would do is in the thing say that they need to have a letter in by,
The
By the 20th?
20th or 23rd.
that way it gives you
maybe.
guys the time to read them, you guys time to read
Yeah,
them.
if it could be the 20th, and then if there's some way that we could get together, you know, just so that we can talk about them, I think that would be good before the 27th, too.
Well, we don't, yeah,
We can't do that?
not likely. I mean, I think that we all see letters and then the point is that we talk about it on the 27th and make a decision.
Oh, so not
But
before.
Right, and
something
people
along
might be
those-
invited to
I
come,
mean,
people that
unless
put
we
in
have
a.
6 people and it's more complicated than that,
Yeah.
but, you know,
Or unless we only have one.
Right,
right, in which case.
but I
it's
still
a
think
moot
it's
point,
important
yeah.
at that point, even if there's only one, that the board has an opportunity to find out what are the qualifications. I mean, I don't
Right.
know, I don't know. I mean, this is not it's not an easy job, you know that.
Oh, yeah, I
So,
do.
Um,
It
so,
also takes a fair amount of training. So one of the things I want to say is that I'm grateful actually that Tiffin's come in throughout the reappraisal project to see some of the things and actually sit in on some of the stuff. Because it, not only do you do just some things once a year, but it affects the rest of the year. So it's a big picture kind of gig.
So you'll advertise what you need. I mean, you need a, you know,
yeah,
a brief statement of qualifications or whatever, you
and
know,
what the
whatever
job
the
entails or
advertisement
whatever.
would be. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
we
Yeah,
actually
well, that's
have a job
actually
description.
in the, that's actually, yeah, just like there is for all the elected positions, there is actually a blurb about it.
Yeah,
In the town.
So you have a job description?
Well, there's.
probably not very detailed, but I don't know. I don't
But
know.
that's,
Have to look.
but that's what we have to, I mean, you know, just like for the cemetery
Well,
board.
there's
for any
probably,
of the
right, there's
boards,
probably a
there's-
statutory
Yeah,
job
there is.
description, I would think.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And that's
So,
in the
yes,
elected.
somebody has a job description.
Yeah.
The state does it, and then I'm sure we have the option to add to that if we want to, but the basic requirements would be established by the state, I'm sure. So,
Okay. So-
Yeah, I know there is something, because I actually, before the last
Yeah.
town meeting, I was pulling, because I didn't know, when I went through it, I didn't know what some of these
What?
positions were and what they did.
Yeah, and actually,
And so I
whenever there's
pulled some
that
of them.
Democratic Party,
here we
that's
go.
when we bring the blurbs about
Right,
all the open
right.
seats. So that's where there's a blurb about it. You know, those ones that we have at the library. or
Right,
the-
right.
Chapter 26 of the VLCT handbook.
It's in Star, yeah.
Just a
I
second.
love this guy.
Star.
Chapter 20.
Great.
Oh, you know what? I've got an extra one of this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you
Right.
very
That's
much.
great.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, we can make copies. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, not that I still fully understand.
Oh, I
what
can
I'm
do
doing.
that.
You knew where to look.
Yeah, very impressive.
yeah, just gonna hang my head low.
Where's your house?
Exactly.
Half that stuff is
Get us copies of that, Scott.
I didn't see that.
Steve, just get Steve.
You know how many times I have to read a sentence to figure out what they're talking about? It's pretty humbling.
It's when it wakes you up at 3 in the morning and you go,
Jeez, Louise.
Great, thank you very much.
and thank you for your interest in serving.
Yeah.
Please, I'm sure we'll be.
Yes, thank you.
It's a great time.
Trust me, I don't think there's going to be a herd of people banging on the door. But
You never know, though.
Never know. Can't say that we didn't ask. This is for the next
the
thing.
next subject.
Oh, this is the Neely.
The what? Oh,
Neely.
Tax
yeah.
work.
Okay, so let me tell you what you're looking at. We have a piece of property. It's in the name of Karen Bills that it has been delinquent for the last 3 years. We've been trying to collect money on it, send her bills.
Where are we
Is this
roughly?
on
We are-
Town Line Road or something?
Yeah,
That's
It's
that.
Neely.
Fine,
Drive.
bad.
it's
There's
Neely
Pine
Drive,
Banks.
it's an actual road.
What is the drive?
It's off Mountain View, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it?
Oh.
Let me
Okay,
get my bearings here.
Yeah.
there's Pine Banks.
Okay, so this is Taylor Road over here. I'm trying to get my. Is that good?
Yeah.
So this is after Fort Hill and,
Yeah, it's off Mountain View,
okay.
right? Yeah. So what happened was when the property, if you look at the bigger map, you can see it a little better. When the property, when pieces were sold off, so you can see on this bigger map, it says lot 1 on the top, and then lot 2, 3, 2. This little square piece, rectangular piece in the middle, the 0.6 acres, was not conveyed to these other properties when all of these were sold.
Why was that? Was it
I don't-
intended to be an excess? It must have been.
Yeah, it really is just, if you go out there, it's just a road. That's their, it looks like, you wouldn't know it was a separate parcel of land. You would think it was a road, a private road.
It's a road that accesses these
All these
parcels, is
parcels, yeah.
that right?
Yeah, so this right here comes off of Mountain View Drive. There's a right of way that goes across this property, and then there's this piece here
Yeah.
that, so
How much is it delinquent?
it's delinquent 3 years worth. The total amount is $959. So we've purposely left it off the delinquent tax sale
Right.
because who
Realistically,
would want
what
it,
can-
first of all?
well, So, I mean, one of these people might want
May.
it, but then
Yeah,
But then I imagine it's
complicated.
a right of way, so
Well,
It's deeded.
is it deeded as a right of way? That would be the question.
yeah. So I talked to the lawyer about it because I wasn't sure what we could do. You know, what was his advice on what to do with this property? I mean, he said we could put it up for tax sale. Nothing's gonna happen as far as I know. He said we could try to contact the abutters to see if any of them want to acquire it. There is a property out here, which is this lot number 2-3. It's Siggins is the last name.
Right.
That property's up for tax sale. So I would assume that person may not want anything to do with it. When I talked to Richard about it, he felt like us contacting the abutters and going through all that, and we would have to do legal paperwork. It would be a cost to us to do that
Right, of course.
process. He didn't feel like it was worth it.
But what do we do with it?
He said, it's such a small piece, I might just ignore it, take it off the tax roll and ignore it for now.
Just put a fold in the map here. or
Well,
something.
which is funny because that must be when in Westminster on Camp Road where I live, there was it looked like a road in front of us.
Right.
It was a piece that had never been conveyed to the property owners that ended up, they just took it off the tax rolls. Nobody paid taxes on it, they didn't want to mess with it. So this is a similar situation.
it becomes more expensive to deal with it
Than it does to just
generate.
let it, and then when these people start selling or conveying, or they may have a problem because they don't have,
That's what I'm,
then it becomes a legal issue for them.
Right.
I mean, we obviously don't want to buy it at tax sale. The town doesn't, because then we're going to end up with a piece of property which essentially is a road, which means that that's gonna be our maintenance.
Yeah,
Right.
no, we definitely don't want that.
So-
No, I mean, I would think the other solution would be to sort of divide it evenly between these 4 properties, but then who assumes the cost of doing that, you know?
Right,
Because that's what, I mean,
that's what should,
I would think, you
Yeah.
know, that it's sort of the responsibility.
Can we turn it into a town trail or something like that? No. No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, I suppose we can
I'm
do
just-
any, but, I mean, especially since part of it is a right-of-way across someone else's property.
Right.
Well, is it actually? Not
Yeah,
really.
50-foot
Well, it's a
right-of-way
separate,
reserved
it's a
in
separate
Carroll.
landlocked
Yeah, but
little
that's,
piece of.
but that's not part of this, is it, or is it? No, that's
No,
area
it just is
0.29.
contiguous,
Yeah.
to-
That's
right,
that.
No,
right.
it's
It's just-
contiguous, but to get to it, you have to go there.
Right.
So you have this odd little piece of landlocked area that
And-
Yeah,
potentially
weird.
could be an access.
And this is
Now, these
not-
lots are not developed, I'm presuming that also.
Yeah, they are.
They are developed?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
I mean, Tim Severance actually owns a piece of property out there.
and currently the access to it is
Yes,
this road, this roadway, this in effect private roadway.
yep.
Boy, then it sounds like it should probably be separated between these properties.
That's what I would think.
You
Or
know,
let them,
So I guess the question I need answered tonight, what I'm looking for tonight, is do you want me to pursue trying to get in touch with these owners and telling them that this is an issue and that they should really look into, or
dividing it amongst themselves, that's what I would say.
But when they say, I think what's going to be said, what happens if they don't? Nothing really. I mean, so I think I don't know when it's going to
It's
become a
gonna-
problem to
well,
them.
it's
When they,
gonna
but
become a
probably
problem.
when they
Like you
sell.
say, when somebody wants to sell, all of a sudden it's gonna be an issue. I mean,
Right.
what I would say is, and Karen Bills is alive, not alive?
I've never had contact with her. Her address
we-
is in Bellows Falls. Do we ever get that? We don't get those
I mean, I
back
know
though,
that.
do we? When
I know
we
that
send them?
name,
I
but-
think she's still there.
Yeah, I think we send them, and because it doesn't get returned to us when we send the notice.
okay, and she's not one of the current abutters
No.
here, and what, did she own this whole
I
Yeah.
believe
piece
so.
at one point?
Yeah, I think that's
And
right.
somehow when it was sold, why would she have kept that? As opposed,
I
you
don't
know,
know
as
if
opposed to
maybe that-
dividing it at the time. Yeah, no.
Is it-
Well, it may be that, you know, lot 1 and 2 sold first and she didn't want to give up the right of the way to 3 and
Yeah.
4, you know, who
Yeah.
knows? But,
I suppose you could purchase the property.
I mean, do we have a
tax
is
sale
there a
and
title
erect a
search?
toll
Does-
road
Do
there.
listers do title searches?
listers don't.
That would be through the.
Yeah, I mean,
lawyer or something?
that was one of the things that I talked to Richard about,
Seems
and
to
the
be the
title
thing
search
these
would be,
days.
I mean, so he didn't do a title search.
Okay.
Because I told him, no, don't do one, because
Interesting.
the amount of the title search might be
Exceed.
the amount of the
Yeah.
test. So I think that's why he ended up at the conclusion of, might just want to ignore it.
yeah, no.
Right, I mean, this, and it'll
Yeah.
just haunt,
It'll
you know,
haunt the
people for
owners.
hundreds of years down the road, it'll keep rolling up.
Exactly.
In deed transactions
Exactly.
and whatnot.
Now, what is that little parcel?
And,
I mean, and that is the approach, I believe. I don't know how it actually
Friend of
came
mine
about,
had a small
but we
fortune
did.
on
We ended up having to take care of
property
that as
that way.
landowners. You know,
Right.
and coming.
Well, that's what I would think
Yeah.
it would be, is that these 4 people should get together, but like you say, if this one's up for tax sale, then
Right.
they're not gonna be chipping any money in, I wouldn't
Yeah.
think. But, you know, I
But
would.
the next
But if,
owner or the person buying it at tax sale.
I mean,
might
I could
be
just
very
inform
interested
them.
I think
in
it
that.
would
Just
be
an
worth doing
informational
that.
letter that says, this is
To
where
these
this property
4
is at.
landowners.
I think for now, the best thing the town should do is take it off as a taxable property.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's no sense in generating another tax bill for it this year and end up with taxes that are delinquent. And just let them know that this is an issue,
Right, which takes me back
which
to
they
the
probably
question
know
about,
already,
you
the
know,
owners.
town roads and trails and things like that. Is there some kind of heading for this? You know, it's a potential access.
Right,
You know,
but we don't want it,
potential
but it's,
residential neighborhood.
these
Yeah.
residents should own it. 'cause
Yes,
I think
that's the ideal, but is there a way that we can hold it until then? I mean, I suppose that's a different legal status than ignoring it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that wasn't
I mean,
one of the
I'm-
options that I was given by the.
Well, it's
lawyer.
also, we start encumbering costs. If we start you know, needing to survey it or this or
Right,
that,
sure.
we're
Oh, yeah.
starting to take on expenses.
I mean, it's on the
related
tax
to
bill.
it.
I should back up. We've already issued a tax bill to it. So, I mean, so it won't hurt to just inform them of this piece of
Well, I
property.
suppose.
That, I mean, I'm assuming they probably know.
We would just acquire it as a tax sale.
For next to
For-
nothing,
right,
and then
next
we-
to nothing.
but then we have it, then we're
Then-
assuming responsibility. I don't.
Yeah,
Do we,
no.
do we know who maintains it? If it's a road that's used to access these properties?
Somebody here, they must,
Well, I mean, that, someone, whoever's maintaining it
probably
might,
Tim does right now.
Because I wouldn't be at all surprised if these people don't even know that this situation
Yeah.
exists. They
Right.
probably assume they own to the center of the road.
The road or something like that.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily, but I wouldn't be surprised.
or have
So I'm
them.
sorry, which one of these four is up for?
That one that you just.
Stiggins?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Or suggest they get together and do a title search on it.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's,
That way-
exactly.
Yeah.
Turn it over to the four of them and
Yeah.
say, you guys hash this out if you want to deal with it, otherwise it's no man's land.
Otherwise,
you
it's
know?
gonna turn into a nightmare. There you go.
But I guess, so that's so I'll wait to see if I get any response to that. So I'll send a letter to them and just say, this is the situation there, and we're trying to figure out at the town level how to resolve the delinquent tax situation for that piece. And it would probably be in your best interest to try to figure this out where it is divided between the properties.
Yeah,
And from there, they're at least notified that they know what's going on, and then at a later date, we'll have to decide what to do with the delinquent taxes if they don't move forward with it.
and the, you know, best case scenario would be that they step forward and pay the delinquent
Right.
taxes. Or, actually, I mean, if these four people, or whoever, came up with the money, you know, like Tim might want to buy it and tax it. I mean, it might be worth
Yeah, I don't know.
putting it up for tax sale, and, you know, Tim comes and buys it for, like you say, nobody's going to want it, but hey, if he buys it for $1, then he's got the rights to it, you know? That might be worth it,
Yeah.
as long as we don't have to spend any money. I mean,
Right, I think that's where I was, is like, how far do I go
Right,
with it? Just
right.
notifying them,
Right.
giving them what their options are? Or do we put it up for tax sale? Well, the thing of putting it up for tax sale is then all of a sudden you've got legal fees and all of that other stuff. And if it doesn't sell, then you're stuck paying those.
even, and how, is that a percentage, or how does that work?
It's a percentage. There's a minimum and then there's a percentage of what the delinquent taxes are.
Percentage of what the...
I think I'd be better off just trying to contact these people.
Yeah,
See what
no,
their thoughts are.
Oh, I
yeah.
think that definitely is the first stop, right, is
But
Yeah, I guess
we
it's
don't.
not gonna hurt if
See
it
if we
sits for
can-
another year.
see if we
either. I
can
mean,
fix
Right,
that
it's not like we're
there.
talking thousands of dollars.
No.
It's just one of those thorns on our side that every time we see the bill, it's like, rah, we gotta get it off.
No, that's what, I mean, I think the simplest would
We gotta
be.
knock something off the old business list there.
Yeah, exactly. The simplest would be if, you know, whoever was able to just purchased it and divided it, and, but then they've got to survey it and so on and so forth, so they might, or you just get an agreement. I don't know how they do it, but anyway, not our, yeah.
Okay, all right, so I'll contact them, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time or energy on
No.
trying to convince them that they should do that. It's more of, you know, for me, it's more of that this is what's going on and it would be in your best interest to get it straightened out.
Well, and I suppose the way it is right now, that's a lien, so, you know, I mean, I was gonna say maybe somebody suggests that, maybe somebody goes and just tries to purchase it from Karen Bills for $1 or whatever, but then you'd be liable for that if you were to do that, so,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the interest of just cleaning the mess up, we sort of say, hey, if you guys get this cleaned up, we'll forgive the taxes on it, or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You said it was about $900 or something like that, right? I mean, I think we could, you know,
I mean, it would be nice if they,
sweeten the pot a little bit, right?
to not owe the
Exactly,
$900,
right.
but I think we shouldn't say that
Oh,
until,
no.
until it becomes
Yeah, I
sort
don't,
of necessary, but
I'll reach out to them and see what I get.
see what you
for-
get, yeah. You may get nothing.
Yeah, I
In which
may
case,
not, but at least they'll know,
Right,
you know, they'll know and it won't be a surprise to them if they go to sell and
Yeah.
it's,
This isn't a quiz from the Lister's instruction book here or something for
it could
us?
be.
All right, so
Go
I
through
will,
this over?
I'll keep you
Yeah.
updated on that, but.
Four landowners, I'm scared, but,
All right,
you know, how many pieces like that actually exist
Probably.
around in a lot of towns and
Yeah,
whatnot.
probably.
a lot, probably.
Yeah.
And, you know, doing.
Weird things, stuff doesn't get conveyed and then. Okay, on to the next thing. Speaking of delinquent taxes, tax sales are scheduled for the 29th of August. At the next meeting, I'll bring you a list.
How many are there currently?
I think there's 10, Laura, 9, 10, something like that.
At least 10. Something
Yeah.
tells me 13, but
Yeah.
But that number usually goes down to 3 or 4 by the time it comes to the.
Yeah, I
actual-
might even wait till the 27th meeting because then
Yeah.
I'll know if
Yeah.
there's anything there I haven't really looked at them close enough to think if there's anything there we would want. I don't.
Yeah. Well, if we did, it would probably just be to clean it up, but.
Yeah, I don't. And then the audit is scheduled for next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if you want to come in and see John, he's here for 3 days.
It'd be cozy.
It will be cozy. I don't have any financial report update. Took me a little bit to regroup when I got back on Monday, so I don't know. I don't think I missed anything on the agenda, but short and sweet.
Well, that's nothing wrong with that.
Sometime you-
She's a lifeguard.
Oh. So-
I think probably at the next meeting, I'll have the intern that I've been working with on the streetlight policy. She'll be here. Kind of give her final report and.
How's that been going, all right?
Good. She did she got some maps from Wyndham Regional and then went out and looked at every streetlight to make sure that.
That was what it was gonna take.
Yeah, and so she did that. She has it all on the computer. She came up with a policy that I just need to review. Her and I need to go over some, suggested maybe removal options. The number of
Have you got
streetlights
that?
we have don't match what we're being billed.
That's,
That's
what we thought.
we have more or we have less?
We have more.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh,
But the person that I had contact with at Green Mountain Power, we'd been calling for a month, 2 months, whatever it was.
Years.
Well, I ran into the girl she works with, her daughter plays, the girl that she works with plays softball with my daughter. I said, why have I not gotten a call from her? Oh, she left months ago.
oh. Who, Debbie?
Yeah, and I
Oh.
said, well,
Okay.
her voicemail's still set up, her emails aren't being sent back. So I now have
There's a woman named Teresa, I think.
Billy Joe, actually. Billy Joe Bouger took her place, so I have her contact information to get the map. So between now and the next meeting, that will be something that we finish up and, yeah. So that was, Emily was great. She just took that project and
Good.
ran with it. So hopefully that'll be here. Oh, I do have another thing. Chris Hayes called me right before the meeting tonight. He had come in, him and Mark had come in a while ago about the Putney Inn project.
They get approval from V-Trans yet?
No.
Really?
Well,
Oh, okay.
it's kind of a convoluted mess, but we needed a traffic
Really? It's much
plan.
more
We ended
convenient to
up,
look at that in the winter, I'm sure.
it really wasn't V-Trans' fault. It was ours. We needed a traffic plan that was, and Chris Hayes and I kind of went
A
back.
traffic plan as to how to deal with people trying to come and go while you did
While
this?
you're doing,
Yeah.
yes. So I ended up calling Green Mountain Traffic Control and just had them do a traffic plan for us. Well, because this process is taking so long, now Chris is rethinking that he thinks we should just, instead of doing the assessment first, we should just put out the scope of work that we need to have done to bid, because he's concerned about the time frame.
Because winter's coming.
because winter's coming. And I said to him, I thought we didn't know what the scope of work was without the assessment. That was where we left it. And he said he thinks he knows enough that he can come up with a scope of work. I'm a little worried about it.
Yeah.
Him and I I like Chris a lot, and I would tell this to him if he was sitting here. He knows him and I really have a communication issue. He talks about 100 things at a time, and I can only process. I have to stop it to process. So I'm a little worried about. I told him to get the scope of work together, and that him and I will sit down and look at it. And if he really feels that that's what it is, we'll put it out to bid.
Yeah, no, but as we well know, with a project like that, all it takes is a, inline crack,
Right.
you
I
know,
know.
and you go from a $12,000 project to a $42,000 project in a matter
Right.
of
Part of the
minutes.
problem of the assessment is that
They're not gonna
Renault
be able to
is the
assess.
one that we've asked to do the assessment, and he can do it tomorrow. Well, we don't have the permit in our hands
Right.
or the traffic control set
Right.
up. So it's been kind of this back and forth. It's really been kind of a nightmare. So that's what I told him to do today, was to put together the scope of work, and him and I would look at it. And if he feels confident that what it is that he thinks needs to be done, then we'll put it out to bid. Because I said to him, I don't even know how much this is going to cost,
No.
and if we even have the money.
But the assessment alone is going to cost, wasn't that several thousand
Well, it
dollars?
was probably $2,000 or $3,000, and that was part of his point to me tonight, was it would be
That's just
better
a
spent
waste.
towards
Yeah,
and I agree with him to some extent. I think we just didn't know that this was gonna take so long just to get this
Yeah,
assessment
but
done.
again, if you plan on one thing and suddenly what looks like 2 days' work turns into
I know,
10 days'
I'm worried
work,
about it.
then your traffic plan is
Well, the traffic plan is messed up, and the permit, you're not following the
exactly.
permit correctly.
No,
I know,
I would
it's.
worry about that, but
So he was gonna let me know when he had that done, and then he was gonna, I'm gonna have him come sit and talk with me, because him and I clearly can't talk over email. We barely can talk over phone, so I'm hoping that maybe,
Yeah.
it's difficult because it's complex stuff that he's dealing with. And I tell him, you gotta dumb it down for me. You gotta tell me what you're talking about, and that's hard for him to do. And I get it. He's got a million things going on, so he's just trying to get stuff done. And municipal doesn't work that way.
Right.
We're not a business that can just go out and hire who we want to get stuff done when it has to be done. We do it to some extent, but so I'll continue working on that. In the meantime, we're still paying the money to get it pumped, and the work for the pump down there is done, almost done. The actual repairing all that, but so that's that. He tires me right now. I'm sure I tire him right out. He'd say the same thing to you guys. Though.
Come on, just get it done.
Yeah, right. Pick up the pace there.
Did you get the painting?
Of course I did.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, alright.
actually occurred to me today that we haven't
Okay.
talked about that, but
All right,
yeah.
let me
No, I put in a call to the guy who does most of my painting just to confirm wording with him, and I
Okay,
just haven't touched base with him.
okay. I'll get in touch with you at the beginning of next week. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm not
we
going to
should
get to it this week
Good,
anyway.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have an executive session? You sure? All right.
Nothing else?
Anything else?
I'm good.
Everybody good?
We're
I'll
good.
accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Let's go. Look at that.